Yo, what's up, everybody? Great to be with you today on this Wednesday afternoon, kicking off a fresh broadcast here on 412 Productions. You guys know the drill. Thank you all for being here, especially live and early for the pre-show. Jump into chat wherever you're watching. We'll say hello to as many of the fam as we can, and then we'll get today's show started at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We've got a good one today. I think we're going to have the entire squad from the No Prisoners podcast jumping in. That means 45-1, obviously. Kevin and Feisty Mango all going to be popping in. I believe that's the plan today. We'll see who all shows up. Plus, hopefully, my OG crew as well. So we're going to be jam-packed and loaded, and it should be a wonderful, wonderful way to break into the back half of the week. So let's get started. Over in the mosh pit on D Live, I see Constitutional Poet, Light Our Souls, Lino Vincent, and Kiwoys all hanging out over there. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Shout out to Joe Elaine, chatting all by herself, modding the chat all by herself over on Rumble. Good to see you, Joe, and thank you for all the work you do on Rumble, and of course in the Comfy Bunker on Pill.net. Speaking of which, let's see who's all hanging out with us over there today. Pill.net, the exclusive place to watch hour number 2 of this broadcast and every broadcast here on 412 Productions. So get on over there if you haven't checked it out yet. Floyd, Due Diligence was in there first. It was awesome talking to you yesterday, Floyd. Lightspear in the house. Great to see you. Floyd hooking us up with our first gold pill today with a 2.5-inch thick 5-pound Wagyu steak cookie. Fuck yeah, dude. That sounds amazing. Medium rare, basted in some butter. Oh, I'm so in. Gorilla, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Thank you for the cookie. Patriot 714 in the house. HL Paco, great to see you as well. Let's see who else. Ken Chris, what's up, Chris? Good to see you, my friend. Of course, there's Joe Elaine doing her mod thing as always. We got General Buford in the house as well. Good to see you, General. And we have to keep scrolling here. Our Harold, what's up, our Harold? Great to see Barb Robbins out there as well. Space Cookie, Paul Thaddeus, what's up, guys? Good to see you all out there. Fazic in the house. We got Snow Bunny 68 DX popping in. Cali Patriot 14. Welcome. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. Hope you're well. And I see Roy Stones and Bones over on the West Coast. What's up, Roy? Woke Society, Scott DeGroat. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Always a pleasure to have Scott in the chat. I see Crimson over on Rumble popping into the chat. Good to see you, Crimson. Range Pony. What's up, Range Pony? Welcome. Pip's mom checking in from across the pond, Wales, UK. Good to see you. And we got Mad Joker out there. McKinnon 88 in the house as well. Bert Cocaine dropping a can. Cheers, Bert. Great to see you, man. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday, my friend. Stacks, what's up, Stacks? Good to see you. My man Kaiman Molon Labe down in South Africa checking in. Great to see you, Kaiman. Facts Not Fear. 315 Russ with a cookie says, went on Pixel's show last night and cracked him up with some news from the future. Love it. Pixels is the best, and so are you, Russ. Thank you for the cookie. I'm glad you guys had some fun. A from PA in the house. What's up, A? Good to see you. Dizzy Rockin' checking in from Manchester, UK. Lots of Patriots abroad. Love to see it. Faithful Mom in the house. Great to see you, Faithful Mom. And we got Casey Powwow out there as well. Patriot Mom 76. Good to see you. And Clover Lily, what's up, Clover Lily? Jenna Sevi, good to see you too. Tweety 52, Dangleberry, Jenker 2, what's up, guys? Good to see you all out there. Jenker 2 hooking us up with a cookie, also much appreciated. And I see Eagle Freedom checking in. Crockett Man 62, welcome. Richard Lyles hooking us up with a can. Cheers, my friend. Thank you so much. Let's see. Lisa Lynn Z says hello from Alabama. What's up, Lisa Lynn? Good to see you. Running Patriot, welcome. Jim, sup fam? Good to see you. Ohio Kimmy, thank you for the cookie. Much appreciated. Who else is out there? Dave75, happy hump day to you as well. The Gray Man popping on into the chat as well. Good to see you, Gray Man. Great to see all you guys out there. All right. Hey, there's Oil Man. What's up, brother? How you been, bud? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Derp a derp. That's a new one. Are you new around here, derp a derp? New to the show, or have I just missed you in the past? I don't think I've ever seen derp a derp before. Much love, my friend. All right. Timar, what's up, Timar? Born Deplorable, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. All right. Is it 4 o'clock? We are close. Patriot Drummer, welcome. Laura Y says Drunk Pinata is closing now. He closes right when I'm about ready to play the intro, and all these people come flying in at the last second. What's up, Trump Red Pill? I see Mikey Baseball out there, too quick. Welcome, welcome. The Steel Monkey popping in. My pilled feed is too low in volume. Are you sure the volume's turned all the way up over there? Because it should not have any issues. All right, we're going to get this officially underway. We'll be right back, everybody.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. We addicted, the MSM, and now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong, stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adol Nero is the power that's controlling the fight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they can find. They're just slaves in the system till the roles are assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative that's feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, replacing with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only incentivized to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful. Then you're gone. But not us. We're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adol Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adol Nero.
What's up? Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Great to be with you guys for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. It is March 27th, 2024. My name is Adel Nero, and we've got a hell of a panel for you guys today. We've got the entire No Prisoners podcast crew hanging out with us, 45-1 actual. We got Kevin, or Kevin's Chaotic Coffee, as you guys know him in the chat. And Feisty Agent Mango will be joining us soon as well. Plus, my OG crew, Drunk Pinata and Tennessee Homesteader. So lots of voices up here today. Very excited about today's show. 45-1. How you doing, man? How you been?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right. Just been on the grind, got a lot of work going on in the background and staying busy, man, and just trying to fight the information war all at the same time. So I'm doing
Good,
well,
man.
man. I'm glad to be
How's
here.
the show? How's the show been going? I haven't been able to stop by as often as I'd like to the past few weeks.
It's going really well, man. It's going really well. Since I've made the big switch over to Pilled from Rumble, I mean, I may have like 4 or 5 people show up at Rumble, but by the time the show ends, I usually have over 100 people in there, over 110. It's pretty awesome, man. Like that, those are huge numbers for me, and I really appreciate the Pilled family and the Pilled platform for giving MPP such an awesome home, man. We're having a great time.
Glad to hear it, man. We're so happy to have you. All right, let's go to Kevin next. Kevin, how you been, man? Welcome back to Deplorable Discussion.
Why, thank you. So honored to be here. Adel, I was attacked by a possibly gay transvestite dragon from Canada. Microaggressed. And
He was. He
it was
caused a
horrible.
firestorm on Twitter.
It was terrible. And I enjoyed it. Oh my gosh, the firestorm.
Yeah, no, he was attacked by a furry, like a legit furry in a dragon costume on Twitter, and so I photoshopped him an image of like a Crusader knight holding this dragon's head up in the air, and I put like stuffing down in it, like to make it look like he just ripped off like the stuffing and stuff. Dude, it was so good. He blocked him for it, so that was a good way to end that conversation.
I've just been like busy, kicking hornets' nests in social media and upsetting the status quo. I mean, it's what we do. So yeah.
I don't hate it. I love it. It's awesome. Well, it's great to have you back, Kevin. And 45-1. Very excited to get the No Prisoners podcast posse on the air with us today. Let's say hi to my guys. We got Tennessee Homesteader checking in. Tien, happy Wednesday, buddy. How are you?
Happy hump day. False flag plus 1 day.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
That's where we're starting today. We're going to start with the bridge today. I have Laura Logan's segment on the War Room yesterday, and we're gonna listen to at least a little bit of it because I thought she broke it down pretty well.
Yeah, she did.
Everyone's reaction to it. So
the one on War Room, right?
Yeah. I think she was actually doing that when we were live yesterday. So
yeah,
it was yesterday morning.
One to kick butt. Leave it to Laura.
Absolutely. Well, great to be with you, Tien, as always. And last but not least, let's jump over to Drunk Pinata. Pinata, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. I'd have to say, if you guys don't normally watch the show because it's just too much MSM, today was a little bit more of a structured show. So if you don't usually watch my show and you watch, but you like me on here, definitely go watch today's show. We go through a lot about the permission structure that they're kind of creating. And somebody finally said it, Adel. Somebody finally said, well, what are we going to do with these people?
Do you have the clip, or do you have a clip?
Yes, I do have the clip.
Let's hear it.
Well, they're late because that's what Hillary said months ago.
So you guys know
deprogrammed.
You guys know Bandy Lee, right? This is the one of the doctors that even the medical association had to reprimand for their unethical book that they wrote about Trump and evaluating him psychologically without him not being a patient. So they kind of do this first part. We're going to kind of skip towards the end when she talks about a solution. I'll leave it up to her if she wants to label the final solution or not. But they go through and start to use jargon as far as that what's going on is that people have a virus. They're contaminated. And well, we have to sterilize and we have to, separate these people. It's somehow. So let's check. So we're kind of going in this in about
I'm
7
gonna
minutes.
title the video.
You're not getting my shoes, and you're not getting my gold teeth. Sorry.
It says, "Is Trump psycho enough to kill?" That's the name of the video. That should tell you everything.
Totally fine to say that about a former president and everything,
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, I think we've come to the point where we're at an existential place with respect to whether or not we will be able to address this, what I've sometimes called a mental health pandemic, whether we'll be able to bring the relevant, correct knowledge and to educate ourselves in a way that we can empower ourselves to meet the issue of our time. Because, of course, voting is important and political discourse is important, but there's a certain level of mental health and mental capacity that is a requirement for politics and certainly democracy to happen. And we're in a perilous place where that is being threatened. And of course, the phenomenon you described is something that I've commonly observed as a psychiatrist who's worked in the public sector. I've worked with violent offenders in prison settings and in state hospital settings where individuals often go untreated for a very long time. And what we see is that it's not the healthy individuals who correct those with severe symptoms, but the severe symptoms that spread to previously healthy individuals, such that after a while, after continued exposure, you almost cannot tell the difference between the person with a primary illness and those who secondarily acquired those symptoms. The only way you can tell is by obtaining a detailed history. And what we do in prison settings or in hospital settings is we separate these individuals. We either hospitalize the primary person or separate them in different cell blocks, and the symptoms in the secondary individuals dissipate. But this is what we have not been able to do. There was a momentary period when that had occurred, right after the January 6th insurrection. Donald Trump was removed from all the significant social media platforms. And we saw a lot of denunciations. We saw a lot of people coming around, in a sense, being woken up from the spell that Donald Trump had them under. But as he gradually moved back into the public sphere, we saw how dramatically that shifted from being correctly a riotous insurrection to now people who are politically persecuted and hostages and unbelievable patriots, as Donald Trump was saying before he went into his bloodbath.
Yeah.
But this normalization of violent rhetoric has been one of the influences, and that makes it very dangerous as we go more deeply into this campaign season, when he will be more and more exposed to the public.
So part of the first part, hopefully, Kevin, you got the link. I gave it to you in the Zoom chat. So part of the first part was how they kind of were using this language and the medical jargon as far as a virus or an illness, and separating these people. And so that is,
Except there's one big problem.
She said cell block, and she goes, "Well, not necessarily cell block." She kind of, you can see how she wanted to say prison and cell blocks, and then detention centers and re-education.
Except there's one problem. She's a psychiatrist, not a MD, not a virologist. And all the terminology she was using is a virologist.
Yep.
And they screwed up on her name. They left out the parenthetical CCP in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, she also apparently isn't aware of our system of government. You know, this is the thing that the left does all the time to perpetuate their lie, is using the word democracy. Our system of government has democratic levers, but it is a constitutional republic. In a democracy, it doesn't require an informed population. It's the mob rules,
Mob,
and the
right.
people who are in charge get to make rules unchallenged. In a
Correct.
constitutional republic, requires an educated elector to come in and know what's going on when they cast their vote. And then the people that make the laws or try to pass the laws are held to a constitutional standard in which we, the people, are over and can enforce when they screw up. So the fact that they just keep on pushing, like, we have to make sure that we're using correct language when we're fighting back against this stuff and not using the word democracy. It is a constitutional republic, period.
We just have democratic mechanisms to
That's right.
elect our representatives, period.
That's right.
But you notice that every time they do, they don't say democracy, they say our democracy. So they're trying to be accurate. It's their democracy, not our republic.
We have little to do with it. And I had this clip. I didn't know if I was going to use it today. It's kind of something I had off to the side, but the fact that she's coming after the right for being mentally unstable or mentally ill. This popped into my feed a little bit ago. And it's so wrong, especially with liberal women. They are the most mentally ill creatures on the planet.
There is an extremely high correlation between mental health issues and being a liberal. But who is surprised? There was a Pew poll where they asked people, has a doctor or healthcare provider ever told you that you have a mental health condition? Let's look at the answers for those who are 18 to 29. Among the conservative participants, 20% of the women said yes, and about, let's call it 13% of the men. With moderates, it jumps up to about 30% of the women, 20% of the men. Then with liberal men, over 30% said yes. But just wait for the liberal women. Over 50% of liberal women said yes, a professional had diagnosed them with a mental health condition. But here's the plot twist. This study was conducted in March of 2020. This is before we really just unleashed all the crazy in this country. March 2020. What would these answers be now? These stats today, I can't. They would.
Anyway, so.
Yeah, it would be higher.
I find it funny how I found that, and I wasn't sure, like, if I was gonna find a place to work that into the show today, and then you played that clip, Pinata. I was like, well, that's perfect. All right, we have a sponsor of today's show. Let me take care of that, and then we'll jump into a bunch of different things here today. Our first and only sponsor is our friends at Earth Garden Botanicals, earthgardenbotanicals.com. This company is run by our friend Jolene, who's an herbalist and a health coach. She's amazing, a total patriot, and she makes wellness products up in Montana. Like the white pine needle extract is her latest creation. It's a concentrate version of the sunshine and pine needle tea, great for detoxing the body. If you feel a cold or virus coming on, it's really good to have in the medicine cabinet. She makes amazing CBD and hemp products. All the CBD and hemp ingredients are locally and organically grown on small Montana farms, giving you pure and potent, amazing products at a great price. The value is unbelievable. The CBD oils taste amazing. Flavors like orange ginger bergamot, huckleberry, cinnamon bliss, peppermint, cherry, even the unflavored one tastes really, really good because the product is so pure and clean. There's CBD oil for pets. There's the Delta 8 R&R nighttime gummies for a good night's sleep, and the topical cream. It's a arnica salve with CBD infused. You can get it without CBD as well if you prefer. It's really good for your sore joints and muscles. Check out the elderberry tonic to give your immune system a little boost. The fire cider to clear your sinuses. With the allergy season kicking off, this could be offering a lot of really quick relief if you're feeling all stuffed up. I mentioned the sunshine and pine needle tea to all you tea drinkers out there. There's a few other tea blends to choose from. Go check those out. And of course, the critter juice, the Happy Trails critter juice, all natural insect repellent. I love this stuff. I swear by this stuff. It's been a major game changer for me during the summers. I keep it in my golf bag in my truck. It keeps the mosquitoes off me, which is a huge problem for me. For whatever reason, mosquitoes eat me alive during the summer, but this product has really, really been effective. What's great about it too is it's all natural, so it smells good. It doesn't leave your skin feeling oily and gross when you apply it. You don't even realize you're wearing it after a short while. And again, it's just super effective. So go check out all of these amazing products at earthgardenbotanicals.com. Use promo code 412 to get yourself 10% off your order. Again, that's earthgardenbotanicals.com, promo code 412 for 10% off your order. Tell Jolene we said hi. She absolutely loves this community and adores you guys out there. So make sure you stop by and drop her a line. And then I see Feisty popping in as well. So let's get Feisty up here and say hello. Oh, there she comes. Feisty, happy Wednesday. How are you doing today?
I'm phenomenal. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. You're just in time. We just finished sponsors and about to get into the news. So hope you're ready to roll.
I am so ready.
All right. So I want to start with the ship colliding, cargo ship colliding into the bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And I'm just going to jump right into this. I'm going to play a clip. This is Laura Logan on with Steve Bannon in the War Room, giving her take. She says she's been in contact with the people in the intel communities, and she does not believe that this was an accident at all. So we're going to play the first segment of this, about 7 minutes or so long, and then we'll discuss on the other side. So here you go, everybody.
Guys around. I don't know how they steered it at 8 knots right into the foundational element of the bridge. They could have dropped anchor. They should have had backup systems. You say there may be something. And here's the other thing that's concerned me. Why did they run to the mic? Had McCabe on this morning on at sunrise on CNN saying it's not terrorism. It's not terrorism. It's not. It might not be terrorism. But why do you come to the mic right away? These are the type. We need facts. We need empirical evidence. We need an investigation. What is your investigation telling you?
Well, I have a better question for you, Steve. Why are you coming to the mic telling the country that it's not terrorism when your own intelligence agencies are telling you it is? And I know they are, because I didn't make this up. These are not my words, right? I'm talking to people who are on the inside, some who are on active duty, some who are retired, and everyone, literally from critical infrastructure in Department of Homeland Security to the intelligence agencies, they know there's no other, this is a cyber attack on a critical infrastructure corridor for the United States. This is, for those people who think this is just a river, this is in Baltimore, what does this matter? You don't know anything about what you're talking about. The I-94 corridor on the eastern seaboard is literally what connects the north and south. And when I talk about hazardous materials, right, this is a brilliant, well-planned strategic attack on one of the most important supply chains in the United States of America. The only other one is in the western side in California. That's the only one that's busier. And what you have done, you now have shut it down. And when I talk about hazardous materials, what are we talking about here? This is refined fuels, right? This is propane gas. This is diesel. This is fuel. This is flammable materials. This is oversized loads, nitrogen, chemicals. Everything that you need for your economy to move has literally just been shut down for 4 to 5 years. And how did they do it? They knew that they had to target one of 2 main anchor points on that bridge. There are 2 load-bearing pylons that any structural engineer can identify that are on the end of each side of the bridge. These are the ones that are thicker and stronger than anything else on that bridge. And when you hit one of those pylons, when you take that out, the reason you see so much of that bridge collapse instantly is you just brought 50% of the span of that bridge coming crumbling down. And what you don't see beneath the surface of the water, Steve, is absolutely catastrophic. It is a structural nightmare and a logistical nightmare, because you have the entire bottom part, the concrete part of that bridge, and you don't know the extent of the structural damage to that. And you won't know it until you pull all of that infrastructure out of there and you get to look at it. And so you're talking 3 to 5 years at best. And what you're talking about here is probably building a new bridge. So what you have effectively done now, you've shut down the I-95 corridor that's above ground. So now you're going to have to go north to New York. You're going to have to go south to North Carolina. And your trucks, your hazardous materials are going to have to go around Baltimore now. They're not going to be able to go through it. And what else did you do? You shut down the sea corridor, the shipping corridor, because now the port is shut down, right? And so all those tankers that are out at sea that have hazardous materials on them, those are going to have to all be rerouted. And why can you not move hazardous materials through the tunnel? Why is this such a big deal? Because they created that bridge because hazardous materials, for example, oversized loads, they don't fit in the tunnel system. Yep. And there's other loads that are so dangerous that they require a permit. It takes time to get a permit. It costs money to get a permit. It requires an escort, right? You've seen it on the highways sometimes. You've seen when you have these massive oversized loads and they've got escorts all around them, these huge convoys. Well, what do you do on one of the busiest corridors in the United States? You don't shut it down in the day so this can happen. That means you can only move this stuff at night, which automatically impacts the amount of traffic that you can use. The tunnel is going to be overloaded. This is what you call death by 1,000 cuts. It is an absolutely catastrophic attack on critical infrastructure, and you cannot see it because a cyber attack is unseen, just like the attack on 2020 on the voting machines that you cannot see.
Okay, I want to go. You just had this big thing with the FBI talking about what the Chinese Communist Party's cyber hacking unit that they've been monitoring for 10 years, and now they're saying it's out of control. Are your sources telling you that they feel that there's enough information out there that it is a cyber attack, and is it a state actor or non-state actors?
100%, yes. They are saying that this is a cyber attack. You didn't have a terrorist group board the ship and commandeer it and take it over. You had somebody hack into the systems on board the ship, the GPS system, and reroute that ship. They did it in the middle of the night because they didn't want the crew to be awake. They didn't want everybody to be on full high alert. They wanted everybody to be asleep and you trying to wake people up and rouse people, because when I spoke to one individual who has, let's just say he worked in Baltimore for many, many years and was there when that bridge was opened. He knew when he looked at the security camera video of the harbor, the long version, the 7 minutes, he knew from the start of that video when he looked at that ship that it was not in the channel. You need to be in the channel to make that turn, to have any chance of making that turn. So now you're traveling. That is a river that flows pretty quickly, Steve, even under normal circumstances, right? And at a certain point, you're committed. That ship is heavy, the load is heavy, the water is flowing at a certain speed. You've got very little room to maneuver. So at a certain point, there was absolutely nothing that they could do to stop that ship from the course that it was on, because they were not in control of it. And they had all of these other factors coming into play. So when terrorism and counterterrorism experts look at this, when people who know critical infrastructure, there's a number of different people that I've spoken to, cyber people, when they look at it, they know exactly what they're looking at. And so it's extraordinary that anybody could come out now when they haven't had time to do an investigation, I know for a fact that they're getting people inside their agencies that are telling them what they're telling me, and they're making public statements that completely contradict what anybody who knows this terrain, who knows it, and I don't just mean the physical terrain, I mean the cyber terrain and the terrorism terrain and the critical infrastructure terrain and all of that. I mean, I've talked to people whose job after 9/11 was to identify, if you were Al-Qaeda and you wanted to capitalize on that attack, how would you do it? They were the people that came up with the term death by 1,000 cuts. And what you're looking at now is exactly what they feared terrorist groups would do to really exploit the advantage that they had after 9/11, because you are bringing the United States to its knees step by step from within.
Laura, how can people follow you?
All right, I'll leave that there. She goes on. The second half of it is pretty interesting too. If you guys want to check that out, you can find clips of it all over Twitter. In fact, I'll grab this link and I'll throw it in the live chat for you guys if you want to watch the second half of it. But she's absolutely convinced it was intentional. It was a cyber attack, and that this is done, to purposely cripple a key piece of our infrastructure and really mess up our supply lines, just further weakening this country. More than it already has been, going back to we'll just say even the pandemic in 2020. So what do you guys make of Laura Logan's take on this? Does she seem on point to you? I'm still kind of watching how things shake out myself here. I'm not a boat expert. I'm not a mechanical engineer or a civil engineer. I don't know the first thing about steering a boat or building or maintaining a bridge. So I'm kind of staying out of it at this point, but I do listen to people like her and find it very interesting. I'll pass it. I'll pass it to whoever wants to jump in. Go ahead.
The one thing she said that was somewhat inaccurate is the ship was in the channel. Right. It drifted off of the channel when they had the first power failure. So now the question is the power failure, because she's talking about a cyber attack. It's on the power aspects of the boat, of the ship. There's some very interesting things that I'll cover tonight with Sandra on when the bridge collapsed, because there's some weird flashes at 3 critical points within 1 second of each other in succession at 3 critical points of the bridge, particularly the northern span aspect of it. So, but the interesting thing here is that, in my opinion, the one thing you cannot answer is foreign or domestic. And lately I've been thinking, and this total conjecture here, but lately I've been thinking, you had the terrorist attack that is now being basically questioned as to what Ukraine's involvement is in Russia and Moscow. Mm-hmm. Then not too long ago, you had the Nord Stream pipeline that's being tied to the U.S. involvement in the Brits. Mm-hmm. Right? You had Obama showing up, and some will say it's not the real Obama, but you had an Obama-like individual strolling into 10 Downing Street just a few days ago, just before the terrorist attack, right? And now you have this. So I'm wondering, because the interesting part is this. She's saying that the intel is saying it's terrorist. Well, that it's a malicious act. She's saying terrorist, but it's a malicious act. So why are they coming out and saying it's not? Why is it within hours before anything, the NTSB saying it's micro fractures on the bridge that caused the fall? Why is it that Biden comes out within hours and says we're going to pay for it and rebuild it all? And then, sorry, but immediately when I saw this happen, 3 years, 3 days to the day of the Ever Given over in the Suez Canal. 3 years, 3 days. The location of that is 6.5 miles from the stadium. The stadium, which it was called out to us, the sum of all fears, that's the stadium where the nuke was placed in the movie. The nuke was brought over via a cargo ship in the movie, and it originated in Ukraine in the movie. The bomb was built in Ukraine. Now, I'm not saying that this was a bomb or anything like that, but all of a sudden, we were told to find the key. The berthing place next to where this ship was anchored is called the Keystone. The name of the bridge is the Francis Scott Key, which is named after Francis Scott Key, obviously, because the Fort McHenry is right outside there, and that's where Francis Scott Key saw the bombardment and penned the defense of Fort McHenry as the poem that later becomes the national anthem. Not only that, this port is the eastern seaboard, aside from North Fork, Virginia, for all the supply lines to the U.S. Navy in the Atlantic.
A lot of symbolism and connections to work through there. There was something to do with wasn't there a ship or something? And I haven't seen it yet, but the Obama produced EMP movie on Netflix.
Yes.
Wasn't there a connection with like the name of that ship and something to do with this ship or something?
Well, the other thing too is the name of the back channel guy in the Russian in the movie. Again, I bring out the sum of all fears is because it was called out by Q, right? The sum of all fears, and everybody focused on the bomb, on the nuke, and I'm not going there because I think that may have just been another angle to it, and not the intended angle. But the interesting part is the back channel operator in the Russians was called spinnaker, which is a sail on a sailboat to go against the wind. So take it for what you will, but this whole thing just stinks to high heaven. Just stinks. Well, I don't know what the truth is, but it all stinks.
Yeah, Kevin.
I'm pulling up a scrape over since 2022. At least 10 ports have been affected to the point where they have had to close down or they have been severely impeded. You've got Baltimore in March 2024. You have the port of Xiamen in China in February 2024. You have the port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands in January of 2024. You have the port of Los Angeles in December 2023. The port of Shanghai, China, November 2023. Port of Hamburg, Germany in October of 2023. Port of Antwerp, Belgium in September of 2023. Port of Tokyo, Japan, August of 2023, Port of Busan, South Korea in July of 2023, and the Port of Singapore in June of 2023. I just think it's interesting that each month there seems to be another port which is being shut down or impaired and impeding its ability to do trade. And as far as like the United States aspects go, I'm concerned that there are so many portions of our infrastructure which have conveniently, whether it's food production, the farms, let's see, what is Oregon doing right now? We're having a water shortage, so the small farms need to be curtailed. I just think it's very
not just
interesting.
curtailed. they're shutting them down 100%. If you have a small chicken coop operation, right, or a 1 or 2 cow operation, and you have a building with a concrete floor, they're calling it a underspaced, like overcrowded animal operation, and they are literally shutting you down. Like they are coming in just like we predicted after we saw this take place in Australia, right? They only do these little globalist maneuvers in one place at a time until they say, oh, you know what? The populace didn't revolt here, so let's go ahead and try it in another place and see just how many times we can get away with it until we can do it on a mass scale. You had the Australians coming in and basically without any type of warrant or reason, their version of the FDA or whatever could come in and just completely shut down any agricultural operation for any reason that they wanted. And now you're starting to see that in Oregon as well. Like they will come in and shut your shit down just because they want to. It's insane. It's insane. So, the attacks on the critical infrastructure and all of that, we still haven't gotten 100% word on what happened down here in the state of Texas when like 83% of the beef grazing lands for the state of Texas went up, like 1 million acres or whatever it was, like just absolutely insane. And with this bridge, I'm still kind of 50-50 on everything as far as how it went. I was a fun fact about me, I was a heavy watercraft operator for the Army Reserve in my senior year of high school. I did a split option, so I had to be in the Army Reserve for a year. Once I graduated high school, I went to my formal school, switched over to active duty, and went on from there. And these types of when you have a ship this size, and let's say they were in the start of a scheduled turn, or the current from where they were when they lost power pushed the rudder all the way to starboard, right? Which is why we see whatever it happened involved with the power loss, whatever the reason was, cyber attack or just mechanical failure. It's also too, it could be possible that the ship was sabotaged before it left port. So you have this whatever power loss happens, the rudder for whatever reason is stuck in at least some some kind of starboard position. They regain power, try to make a course correction, call Mayday, right? Power goes out again. the ship is now just drifting with the momentum that it had. And I know there's that video that came out where you can see like the thick black smoke, it's like pointed out, like they were trying to make some kind of evasive maneuver, and then it goes out again. It was like the ship just was not in a stable operating position to where, yeah, I was an 88 kilo due diligence. Yes. So then when it comes back on, you see at the last second, whatever change they had made, steering it to port or trying to straighten it out, the ship kind of makes that shift at the last second and then just smashes right in to the pillar, and then you also have the fact that this bridge in Baltimore didn't have the proper again, a ship this size, you're not really gonna stop it. But there usually are some kind of countermeasures, especially around bridges, that prevent initial contact. And this thing was just completely substandard in that, and then I see a lot of the talk about the tugboats. And in this industry, like, time is money, 100%. And yes, a new bridge is more expensive than keeping tugboats online for a longer period of time, get them all the way out to the channel. But really, that's the agreement with them: is you get them into that channel, they make their maneuver out to sea, and then it's sayonara. And the tugboats are already on their way. The pilot boat and the tugboats are already on their way to the next ship. So this, as sinister as it may be, the detriment to the U.S. economy and our logistical systems, regardless of how it happened, it's going to be awful. But it also, we have to remember, it could just be a really, really crazy ass series of poor management, right? Because people are that are underqualified or overworked or whatever the situation is, the bridge was underprotected. Of course, eventually, statistically, something is going to go wrong. So, and I saw the videos with the explosions, or the bursts of energy as the bridge collapsed. There's a lot of electrical wires that run through that bridge. The sheer force of a 1,000-foot long ship
Not
smashing.
Not at the superstructure. Not at the trusses up above. I looked at close up, so there's no conduits at all on the upper structure.
I mean, just the sheer force of steel coming down at that speed, that energy has to be transferred somewhere. And like I said, this is a 1,000-foot long ship, cargo container ship, and that force is transferred across the entire structure. So again, I could be wrong, but just
I'm with you, but one is to on the way we look at from our end, one is to the left of the ship, the other one's in the middle of the span, and the other one's on the far right of the span, on the northern side of the span. So it's kind of weird that one is a compression move and the other one's an expansion move, and yet they both flash white. Not explosion. If you actually watch the video really slow-mo, they flash white. Then they go yellow.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we'll just see. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not convinced one way or the other. I gotta see more come out about this.
Well, you're not gonna get it from the feds, that's for certain.
No, I know that.
Well, so for me, the smoking gun that this was intentional is when the FBI comes out before any investigation is done and tries to put an official narrative to it before people have a chance to wake up and look at it, right? Like, had they come out and said, we're investigating, we're trying to figure out what happened here, and then 2 days later they said, we don't believe there's terrorism involved, then you're like, okay, maybe. But the fact that they were so quick to try to like throw a wet blanket over any terrorism talk on this makes me believe that there's something going on here. They're covering for somebody or some entity. There's just no reason to come out and do that right away. Go ahead, Kevin. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah. May I add, I noticed the influencers on social media were also very on top of this for being, we've got like a box wine, I'm not going to go into disparaging. You guys know who the influencers are on social media. Jojo from Jers, Brooklyn Dad, the Krasensteins. We know them. How are they so informed suddenly without warning? That's curious to me, considering that the news hadn't even really come out with its with its information yet, but they had all the information, were all about, like, right on social media, giving all the tea. That was crazy to me.
Yeah, so you can see
So
a coordinated effort to generate an official narrative around this and, start the conspiracy theorist labels on anyone that might have questions. Plus, Laura Logan, I don't know who her sources are, but I don't think she's being disingenuous or dishonest when she's saying
No.
she speaks to people within the intelligence communities and they're telling her that this is 100%, at least, if nothing else, a cyber attack. So let's play with that idea for a second. Let's live in that world that this was intentional. This wasn't just an accident. Who benefits? Who would you think would have done it? Who would benefit the most from it? Um, and what exactly are they trying to accomplish? Is it like Laura says, is trying to cripple the United States one little cut at a time? Is it our own? I mean, the fact that the FBI is there already covering for whoever did it, assuming that is what happened. There's obviously some kind of an inside job nature to this. So who benefits? What's the goal here?
I have a theory. It was the import more or less automobiles? Is my first question.
They're
If
not.
so,
They don't go there. The automobiles go to the West Coast.
Okay.
Well,
the largest port
three-quarter of a million cars came through that port last year.
Okay.
A little over three-quarter of a million.
That's peanuts compared to what comes to the West Coast.
Okay.
Still a lot of cars.
What would be an advantage if China has automobiles being produced in Mexico? Isn't it much more cost efficient to produce automobiles in Mexico and ship them into the United States and the surrounding area instead of shipping them overseas? I'm wondering if this was to amplify a demand for Chinese Mexican imports. I'm wondering.
That's an interesting thought.
You'd have to look at where those imports, those that come through Baltimore, would come from.
Right.
Because the largest imports of vehicles from overseas to the U.S. are either from Europe or Japan. And Japan doesn't go to the East Coast. They come to the West Coast. That's the port. Those are the terminals in the West Coast.
Well, it's a theory. I'm working on a theory. Now, if another port on the West Coast in the next month were to get a little messed up, is what I would say.
I'd be looking at not the San Francisco or Oakland. I'd be looking at towards Sassoon Bay, and the Carquenes Straits. That's the one of the largest landing points for Japanese vehicles. It's right next to the Carquenes Bridge, and that's the bridge. The Carquenes Straits is what separates the Sassoon Bay with the San Pablo Bay, which is where the Napa River and stuff empties out. I know because I used to live there. And interestingly enough, that North Fork, Virginia, and the Sassoon Bay are the only two mothball fleets in the U.S., which is another interesting angle because North Fork is only about 100 miles or so south of the Baltimore area right there. But yeah, the commerce part, the question to my perspective, Adel, to your question, have to separate between an inside job, or rather, in essence, an internal domestic versus foreign, because the benefit differs whether you're looking at it from a foreign or a domestic. What I found interesting in this thing, and when Laura put out the first output was in a tweet form. When she put that out, immediately I thought of Gettysburg in the Civil War. The Battle of Gettysburg was exactly that. Why? Because it was the major crossroads to supply lines between the North and the South, and that's where the two armies collided in Gettysburg, because they were the South was going north and the North was going south, but that's the intersection of the highways there in Pennsylvania. Now you got to think 1860, not not 2000, but that's where you had the Battle of Gettysburg, which was a pivotal battle.
Right.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The reference to the because in her tweet, what was very interesting in her tweet, she used the Mason-Dixon line. The Mason-Dixon line is your line of demarcation of the Civil War between the North and the South.
Right. Interesting. Do we have a casualty count on this? Like, how were there? I saw that I saw this article here that Maryland police were pre-alerted to divert traffic 1 minute before Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. And there's some dispatch audio here. Let me see how long this is.
One of you guys on the south side, one of you guys on the north side, hold all traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering. So until you get that under control, we got to stop all traffic. Yeah, we're all on the route to the south side. Dispatch direction. I'm holding traffic now. I was dragging, but we stopped prior to the bridge, so I'll have all out-of-loop traffic stopped. Once you get here, I'll go grab the workers on the Key Bridge and then stop the outer loop. C-13 dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down. Start, everybody. The whole bridge just collapsed. Simple dispatch is direct. That's correct. This time. Do we know if all traffic was stopped? I can't get to the other side, sir. The bridge is down.
So, because I when I saw the videos, it didn't seem like there was any cars that kind of came down with the bridge. So it looks like
there were utility vehicles up on the mid-span. The majority of the vehicles had already gone by, but there may have been cars you can't see from the video, but there were 5 utility vehicles shipped by bridge workers.
Yeah. So
they're still missing, by the way. They're still
6 casualties. Construction. So is that 6 casualties they've confirmed, and there's still others missing, or is it 6 people they're missing and just calling them casualties until they're found?
From what I read, is the missing presumed dead.
Missing presumed.
It's a recovery effort at this point.
Yeah.
The water temperature is like 42 degrees.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you ain't staying in there prolonged anyway.
I mean, it's a miracle if that wasn't way worse as far as like the body count goes, right?
Right. And that was like my thing is I whatever happened, and again, I don't know for sure. It could have definitely been a cyber attack, could have been sabotage, could have even been pilot intent. But they called a mayday when they first lost power. You know what I mean? Like that was what alerted the bridge authority to stop traffic in both ends. Was they were like, hey, we just lost power. We're doing everything we can to get it back. And then, the thing that was kind of questionable to me, there was no alert horn from the boat. At least, I haven't seen a video with audio
right
yet, but did they give any type of alert signal like like usually some kind of impact warning is pretty standard procedure. But again, that could have been just sheer panic from the crew early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like there may have just been multiple failures there. You never know. So
they had just left dock an hour before that.
Right.
Before it lost power, they had just left dock. And they were clearly in the channel. That's why they had no tugboats, because they were in the channel already. Exactly. They were on their way out. They didn't have to be towed.
It feels like to me it wasn't the actions of somebody directly on the ship. Like the people that were supposed to be in charge of the ship, steering the ship, I think were not part. If this was intentional, it seems like to me they were trying to prevent it from happening, but they weren't in control of the ship, is what it seems like to me. Like the cyber attack thing makes a lot of sense, considering the fact that they called a mayday, they were able to stop traffic. Like if they wanted the full tragedy out of this, there would have been no mayday call. They would have just, to hit while cars were going across, you'd have dozens and dozens more casualties and deaths over this. So I feel like the fact that they called a mayday, they stopped traffic, like it was mitigated as much as it could be, I guess, from a human loss perspective. So I feel like if they were going for, if the people on the boat were in on it, they probably wouldn't have given that warning, if that makes sense. Like if it
And
was,
they may not have been on it. That's the thing. If it was a cyber, it doesn't necessarily mean that
that's my point. The people on the boat weren't in on it.
They weren't complicit, right? Yeah,
So
and it doesn't have to be the whole difference is the mass casualty event versus the mass impact event.
yeah,
Right? This may not have been a mass casualty or intended to be, particularly that time of the day. We're talking about 1:28 in the morning.
Again,
But the minimum effort, maximum impact, right?
yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Okay, so Pinata put a video in the chat here. MV Dolly hitting key bridge in Baltimore, track and video now. It's like 5 minutes, so we'll watch this here when we come back from the break. But we are going exclusively now to pill.net for the second half of today's show. Those of you guys watching on our other platforms, please come find us on Pilled. I'm putting the link in the Rumble chat and on DLive chat. It's also in the Rumble description underneath the stream if you guys want to just go find it down there. Or you can just go type in pill.net on your browser. If you're on mobile, you'll see all the live channels scrolled across the top, or the black and gold thumbnail, 412 Productions. If you're on desktop, all those thumbnails are on the left-hand side of your screen. You'll find us there. Again, it's 412 Productions. Please come join us over there for the second half. I'm going to play a quick video. We'll come back on the other side. We'll say goodbye to all of our other platforms. We'll read your gold pill chats, which have been flowing in, and I thank you guys so much for all the support so far today. And then we'll continue on for the second hour right here on 412 Productions. See you guys in 60 seconds.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, let's do hour number 2. Thank you guys again for tuning in across all of our platforms. I hope you'll come join us over on pill.net for the second half of the show. If not, if this is where we say goodbye for today, thank you for tuning in to the first hour. We will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be hanging out with Frankie Val, the Quite Frankly Show, Zach Payne of Red Pill 78 for another installment of Taking It Back. We'll be syndicated by our friends over on Badlands Media for tomorrow's show. So come hang out with us for that. And then Friday, we'll wrap up the week with my OG crew, plus Maxanon of the Rise Attire Squad is going to be joining us. So we got a great rest of the week planned for you guys. Jump on over to Pilled. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, all you guys on our other platforms.